the pantheon of 20th century cultural icons, few names resonate with the raw power and enduring mystique of Elvis Aaron Presley. Born on January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi, he transformed himself from a poor Southern boy into the king of rock and roll, a phenomenon who fused musical genres, shattered racial barriers, and redefined what it meant to be a star. His life was a dazzling blend of artistic genius, commercial triumph, and personal turmoil, leaving a legacy that continues to shape popular culture nearly 5 decades after his death. Elvis' early years were marked by hardship and deep musical immersion. His parents, Vernon and Gladys Presley, struggled through the Great Depression, instilling in him both resilience and a profound connection to gospel music. The family's move to Memphis in 1948 exposed a teenage Elvis to the city's vibrant mix of blues, country, and R&B sounds that would become the DNA of his revolutionary style. At Humes High School, he was an unremarkable student but a passionate music lover, often seen with a guitar slung over his shoulder. His first professional recording, a 2-song acetate gifted to his mother in 1953, revealed a voice already brimming with soulful intensity. His breakthrough came in 1954 at Sun Records, where producer Sam Phillips sought a white man who could sing like a black man. Elvis' rendition of That's All Right, Mama, blending blues phrasing with country twang and a driving rhythm, became an instant regional hit. Over the next 2 years, his son singles Blue Moon of Kentucky, Good Rockin' Tonight showcased his ability to transcend genres. His signature moves, the swiveling hips, the thrusting microphone stand, electrified audiences, though they also sparked moral panic among conservatives who deemed his performances vulgar. The turning point arrived in 1955 when Colonel Tom Parker negotiated Elvis' contract with Victor for a then unheard-of $350,000. A cast marketing machine propelled him to national fame. Heartbreak Hotel 1956, his first one-hit, introducing his brooding vocal style. Television appearances, performances on The Dorsey Brothers Show and The Ed Sullivan Show, where he was filmed only from the waist up to mute his provocative dancing, made him a household name. Film debut. Love Me Tender 1956 launched his Hollywood career, though critics often dismissed his acting as wooden. By 1957, Elvis was a cultural tsunami. His sound, a fusion of gospel, blues, country, and pop, became rock and roll's blueprint. Hits like Hound Dog, Jailhouse Rock, and All Shook Up dominated charts, while his image, pompadour hair, leather jackets, and charismatic swagger defined youth rebellion. Yet beneath the glitz, he remained deeply rooted in faith. His love for gospel music persisted through his career, evident in albums like Peace in the Valley 1957. The Army Years 1958-1960 briefly interrupted his reign. Stationed in Germany, he met Priscilla Beaulieu, a 14-year-old girl who would later become his wife. His discharge in 1960 was met with frenzied fanfare, but his return marked a shift. Ooka and Parker steered him toward formulaic movies, blues, Blue Hawaii, and soundtrack albums, prioritizing profits over artistic risk. Though hits like It's Now or Never 1960 and Suspicious Minds one prepared to, his voice retained its seductive power. Many critics argued his creative peak had passed. The late 1960s brought personal and professional crossroads. His 1967 marriage to Priscilla produced daughter Lisa Marie, but their relationship strained under his demanding schedule and growing dependence on prescription drugs. The 1968 comeback special, a televised concert where he shed his movie persona and returned to rock and roll, revitalized his image. Clad in a black leather suit, he snarled through trouble and crooned "Can't Help Falling in Love," proving his magnetic stage presence remained undiminished. The 1970s saw Elvis embrace the role of Vegas headliner. His residency at the International Hotel beginning in 1969 set attendance records, with shows blending rock anthems, gospel standards, and ballads. Hits like Burning Love 1972 kept him in the charts, but behind the scenes, health issues mounted. Weight fluctuations. Stress and medication led to significant weight gain. Sleep deprivation. Gritting teeth and insomnia plagued him. Medication dependence. A cocktail of prescription drugs to manage pain, anxiety, and fatigue. Isolation. His inner circle grew smaller, with few challenging his increasingly erratic behavior. Despite these struggles, his final tour showcased moments of brilliance. Audiences still roared for American Trilogy and Unchained Melody, while his 1973 Aloha from Hawaii satellite broadcast, watched by over 1 billion people, remains one of the most ambitious live events in music history. Key elements of his legacy include musical innovation, merged blues, country, gospel, and pop to create rock and roll's foundational sound. Cultural impact. Broke racial barriers by popularizing Black-originated music with white audiences. Stage presence. Redefined live performance with his dynamic movements and emotional delivery. Fashion icon. Popularized pompadours, jumpsuits, and aviator sunglasses. Business model. Pioneered the modern celebrity brand, from merchandising to film tie-ins. Global influence. Inspired generations of artists, from the Beatles to Bruce Springsteen. Enduring myth. His death at 40 to August 16th, 1977, and Graceland status as a pilgrimage site fuel ongoing fascination. Elvis died in his Graceland mansion's bathroom, likely from cardiac arrhythmia exacerbated by drug interactions. News of his death triggered mass mourning. Over 80,000 fans lined the procession route. Though his final years were marred by excess, his impact on music and culture remains unassailable. Today, Elvis lives on through Graceland, the second most visited house in the U.S. after the White House, attracting over 600,000 annual visitors. Music catalog. Over 1 billion records sold worldwide, with hits still played on radio and in films. Cultural references. Parodied, homaged, and studied in academia and pop culture. Family legacy. Daughter Lisa Marie Presley carried his name in music and philanthropy until her death in 2023. Annual tributes. Elvis Week in August draws thousands to Memphis for concerts and candlelight vigils. Whether remembered for his hip-shaking debut, his soulful gospel recordings, or his tragic final years, Elvis Presley's story is a paradox of genius and vulnerability. He didn't just sing songs, he embodied the tension between American dreams and demons, between the joy of rebellion and the cost of fame. From the dusty roads of Mississippi to the glittering stages of Las Vegas, he proved that music could be both a revolution and a refuge, leaving behind a crown no successor has ever truly claimed.